All right, so we're diving into NFTs today.
NFTs.
These, blockchain certificates of ownership for all kinds of digital stuff.
It's pretty wild, right?
Yeah, it is. I mean, we got this fascinating conversation someone sent us, and
Oh, yeah, this one's really interesting.
I'm hooked already. Like, people are spending millions on
Yes.
virtual land,
No.
virtual sneakers, even just like pixelated avatars.
It's crazy.
I mean, is this the next gold rush, or is this just like a total digital delusion?
Well, the funny thing is virtual worlds, they've always had their own kind of currencies, right? Like,
Yeah.
think about it, in-game gold or items you could trade.
Right, right.
But there's never really been a way to actually own those things.
Yes.
Like, truly own them, have proof that they're yours and only yours.
Right.
NFTs are kind of trying to fill that gap.
I see what you mean. It's like having a picture of a rare Pokemon card on your phone
Uh-huh.
versus like owning the actual physical card.
Exactly.
And that NFT, it's like that proof.
Yes.
It's that digital fingerprint that says this is the OG.
It is.
Not just one of the million copies floating around the internet.
Exactly. And with that ownership, you get scarcity,
Okay.
which is like, we know the basis of value.
Right. Like a limited edition pair of sneakers.
Yes.
Worth way more than just your average mass-produced ones.
For sure, NFTs bring that same idea of scarcity into the digital world.
Okay, so like what's an example of something that's actually selling for big money in this NFT craze?
Oh, well, remember CryptoPunks?
Vaguely. I feel like I've seen them somewhere.
Yeah. They're those 10,000 pixelated avatars.
Oh, yeah.
Some of the first NFTs ever.
They're kind of basic, though,
They are basic.
if you ask me.
But basic or not, they're like digital masterpieces now.
Really?
Oh, yeah. One CryptoPunk just sold for $5.8 million.
What, 5.8 million?
Yeah.
For a pixelated?
One little pixelated guy.
It's like we're reliving the gold rush, but instead of land, we're fighting over pixels.
Yeah, it is. It's like a digital land grab.
People are scrambling to stake their claim in this virtual frontier, hoping to strike it rich.
Yeah. Hoping to get lucky with a pixelated avatar or a piece of virtual land.
So it's not just about art anymore.
No, not at all.
We're talking about virtual real estate, too.
Oh, yeah.
In these games like the Sandbox, where I hear businesses are buying up land
That's right.
for advertising. Even musicians are planning virtual concerts.
It's a whole new world.
Wait, so businesses are actually buying virtual land?
Yeah.
What are they going to do? Build like a virtual office building?
Oh,
Make their
wow.
employees wear VR headsets all day?
I mean, think about it. It's like buying a billboard in Times Square,
Okay,
but in a virtual world where potentially millions of avatars could see it.
okay.
It's a whole new way to market and build your brand.
I'm starting to see the appeal here.
Yeah.
But I still can't shake this feeling that it's all just one giant speculative bubble.
Right.
I mean, is there really lasting value here? Or is it all just hype and FOMO?
That is the million-dollar question, right? And this conversation we've got, it gets into some of the potential downsides, too.
Okay, good, because I was going to ask about that.
One of the big ones is that there aren't really clear legal frameworks around NFTs yet.
So like the Wild West, but with code instead of cowboys?
Pretty much,
Uh-huh.
yeah. I mean, it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
There's a ton of potential for innovation and disruption, but also a lot of uncertainty and risk.
Like the early days of Bitcoin?
Exactly. People were skeptical at first, but those who got in early made a fortune.
Are you saying NFTs could be the next Bitcoin?
It's possible, but remember, with high reward comes high risk.
Right.
It's not a guaranteed path to riches, and there are a lot of traps out there.
Okay, so massive gains are possible,
Yes.
but epic fails are also on the table.
Oh, for sure.
So what are some red flags we should be looking out for in this NFT landscape?
One of the big ones is security.
Oh, right.
NFTs are based on blockchain technology, which means they can be hacked or targeted by scammers. People have already lost their NFTs to phishing attacks.
Oh, no.
Or bought fake NFTs that turned out to be worthless.
Like buying a fake Rolex.
It is.
Yeah,
It is.
off the street.
Buyer beware.
Yeah.
It's crucial to do your research before investing in any NFT.
Okay.
Make sure you're buying from a reputable platform, that the NFT is authentic, and that you really understand the risks.
Security's a big one.
Okay, what else?
Another concern is how volatile the cryptocurrency market is.
Oh, yeah.
Most NFTs are bought and sold using cryptocurrencies like Ethereum.
Right.
And as we all know, the crypto market can be a wild ride.
It's like a roller coaster.
It is.
So if the value of Ethereum crashes, my NFT could be worth way less than what I paid for it.
Exactly.
Oh.
That's why it's so important to approach NFTs with a long-term mindset.
Yeah.
And only invest what you can afford to lose.
Right. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme.
No,
Got to understand those risks.
absolutely.
All right, so security volatility, what else should we be wary of in this digital Wild West? Well, this source also talks about the environmental impact of NFTs.
Yeah.
Creating and trading them uses a lot of energy,
Uh-huh.
which leads to more carbon emissions.
It's kind of like we're building this amazing new digital world,
Yeah,
but at the expense of the real one.
right.
That's a tough trade-off.
It's a valid concern, and the NFT community is trying to figure out how to deal with it.
Yeah, I bet.
There are people working on more sustainable solutions,
Good.
but it's a challenge for sure.
So we've got scams, market volatility, environmental concerns.
Yeah,
Seems like there's a lot to think about
there is a lot to think about.
before jumping headfirst into this NFT craze.
Absolutely. You got to approach NFTs with a critical eye.
Yeah.
Do your research and be aware of those risks.
Okay, so we've talked about the potential of NFTs,
Mm-hmm.
the excitement around the metaverse, and some of the risks. But before we wrap up this part of our deep dive,
Okay.
I want to go back to something you mentioned earlier, this idea that the metaverse could become like a parallel working world.
Oh, yeah. That's where things get really interesting.
So imagine spending your 9 to 5 designing virtual skyscrapers
Mm-hmm.
or hosting these virtual conferences,
Right.
and then you log off and go back to your physical life.
It's like a double life.
It is. But instead of being a superhero,
Yeah.
I'm a virtual architect or something.
Yeah.
But how would that even work in practice?
Well, this source points to these play-to-earn games
Oh, yeah.
as a possible model.
Okay.
They're already creating virtual economies where people can actually earn a living.
So instead of getting a salary, I'd be earning cryptocurrency
Potentially.
for completing tasks in the metaverse.
It's possible. And as the metaverse grows and more businesses move in,
Yeah.
we could see a whole bunch of virtual jobs pop up.
Like what?
Virtual architects,
Right.
designers,
Yeah.
event planners, marketers, you name it.
Wow. So are you saying that one day we might see a mass exodus of jobs from the physical world to the metaverse?
It's definitely a possibility. The source argues that the metaverse offers a lot of advantages.
More flexibility, lower commuting costs, access to talent all over the world.
Okay, but let's say that happens. What would that do to our society?
Mm-hmm.
Would we all just become hermits glued to our VR headsets,
Right.
living in these virtual worlds?
That is the question, isn't it? And that's something we'll explore in the next part of our deep dive.
Okay, good, because I have a lot more questions about that.
I bet you do. I do.
Yeah, it really makes you think, right? What happens to our society if work all moves into the metaverse?
Right. I mean, it's like,
This conversation doesn't have all the answers, but it brings up some really interesting points about like the social and economic impacts.
okay, so let's get into it then. What are some potential like upsides and downsides of a world where work is all virtual?
One of the big pluses is flexibility.
Okay.
Imagine setting your own hours,
Yeah.
working from literally anywhere,
Anywhere.
having your own like perfect virtual workspace.
Okay. I'm already sold on the no commute part.
Right.
But what about the social side of work? I mean, will we miss out on those like water cooler chats,
Mm-hmm.
those after work drinks, if we're all just interacting as avatars?
That's a good point. The source talks about that too.
Okay.
It says that the social fabric of work could change a lot.
Huh.
But it also suggests that we might see like new forms of social interaction emerge.
Like what?
Imagine going to a virtual conference
Okay.
that feels like a real life event,
Yeah.
or collaborating with your colleagues in some immersive virtual environment
Okay.
that actually makes you more creative and fosters better teamwork.
So it's not necessarily replacing real world interactions,
You know.
but more like creating new,
Yeah.
maybe even more engaging ways to connect.
Exactly. And think about the potential for accessibility
Right.
and inclusivity.
Okay.
It could open up opportunities for people with disabilities who face barriers in traditional workplaces.
Yeah, I could see that.
It could connect people from different cultures and backgrounds in ways we haven't even thought of yet.
It could break down all kinds of barriers,
It could.
create a more connected world.
Potentially, but the source is careful to say that we need to watch out for the downsides too,
Like what?
like making existing inequalities even worse.
Oh, right.
If access to the metaverse is limited by like cost or infrastructure, it could create this digital divide.
Where only the wealthy can participate.
Exactly.
Okay, so we have to make sure that everyone can benefit from this new economy, not just a few.
Absolutely. Equity and accessibility from the start.
All right, so we've got flexibility, inclusivity,
Yeah.
new forms of social interaction.
Right.
But we have to watch out for things like inequality and the potential for losing those real-world connections.
It's a balancing act.
Anything else we should be thinking about?
Well, this source also brings up the future of work itself.
Oh,
Like if automation and AI keep advancing,
yeah.
a lot of the jobs we do today might not even exist anymore.
Are you saying robots are going to take all our jobs?
Well, not
Even
exactly.
in the metaverse.
Some jobs will definitely be automated. But the metaverse could create new jobs that we can't even picture right now.
So like virtual world builders,
Yeah.
metaverse therapists,
Maybe.
NFT art appraisers.
Exactly. The metaverse is like a blank canvas. The
Wow.
possibilities are endless.
Okay, so you have to adapt to metaverse, learn new skills, be ready for anything.
That's the key. The
Yeah.
source says adaptability is going to be crucial in the metaverse era.
Okay, so being open to new experiences,
Yeah.
learning new skills, embracing the unknown.
Exactly. The metaverse is constantly changing.
Right.
And those who can adapt and learn quickly, they'll be the ones who thrive.
So adaptability, that's number one. What else?
Critical thinking is huge too.
Oh, yeah.
It's easy to get swept up in all the hype
Right.
around NFTs and the metaverse, but it's so important to step back, ask questions.
Really think about it,
Don't just believe everything you read on the internet.
especially when it comes to crypto and NFTs.
For sure. There are so many opportunities out there, but also a lot of ways to get tricked.
Right, so critical thinking helps you separate the good from the bad.
Exactly.
All right, so we've got adaptability.
Yeah.
We've got critical thinking. Any other advice for navigating this whole metaverse thing?
Don't underestimate the power of community.
Oh, yeah.
The metaverse is this huge, complex world. It's easy to feel lost.
Yeah?
But if you connect with people who share your interests,
Okay.
you can build a support system, learn from each other's experiences, figure it all out together.
So even in the digital world, it still comes back to human connection.
It does. We may be interacting as avatars,
Yeah.
but the metaverse is a human creation.
Right.
And it's going to succeed or fail based on our ability to collaborate, connect, and build relationships.
That's a great point. All right, so I'm adding those to my metaverse survival toolkit.
Yeah.
Adaptability,
Yeah.
critical thinking, and community.
Those are the essentials. And remember, we're still in the early days here.
Right.
We're all figuring this out as we go.
This has been a fascinating look at the social and economic side of things. We've covered so much,
We have.
but I feel like there's still so much more to explore.
There is. And in the next part of our deep dive,
Okay.
we're going to get philosophical.
Oh, even better.
We'll talk about how this technology is changing how we think about ownership,
Okay.
identity, even reality itself.
Now we're talking. I'm ready to dive into the deep end of the philosophical pool.
Let's do it.
Okay, so let's get philosophical.
Ooh, yeah.
We've talked about the practical side of NFTs and the metaverse,
The tech potential, the risks.
but this conversation also dives into some deeper questions.
Yeah.
About what it all means for, like,
Our sense of self.
right, our understanding of reality. And honestly,
Right, yeah.
that's the stuff that keeps me up at night.
Me too. Me too. It's where things get really mind-bending.
Yeah.
We're talking about digital objects, but the conversation gets into these age-old philosophical debates
Yeah.
about value identity, what it even means to own something.
Okay, so let's start with ownership then. In the real world, I get it.
Yeah.
I own my house.
Right.
My car, my very stylish collection of vintage video game consoles.
Nice.
But in the metaverse,
Yeah.
where everything is digital
Right.
and you can copy anything, how does ownership even work?
That's the big question, isn't it?
Yeah.
This conversation argues that NFTs are changing our whole idea of ownership.
Okay.
It's moving away from physical possession
Mhm.
to something based on verifiable authenticity and scarcity.
So instead of holding a physical object, I'm basically holding this digital token.
Yeah.
That proves I own the original version,
The OG.
even if there are copies out there.
Exactly like owning the original manuscript of a book, even though there are millions of copies in circulation.
I get it. And that scarcity,
Yes.
that provable uniqueness, that's where the value comes from.
Exactly. And this shift in how we think about ownership, it could have a big impact on the real world, too.
How so?
Imagine NFTs being used to verify the authenticity of physical goods,
Okay.
like to track the history of a piece of art or a collectible, or even to represent ownership of real estate.
So NFTs could blur the lines between the physical and digital worlds even more.
Exactly. And that brings us to identity.
Oh boy.
How will our sense of self change?
Yeah.
In a world where we express ourselves through digital assets and virtual experiences.
My brain's starting to hurt already.
I know, it's a lot to think about.
So are you saying that instead of defining ourselves by like
Mm-hmm.
our physical possessions or our real world achievements,
Yeah.
We might start defining ourselves by our digital collections and our virtual reputations.
This source thinks that's a real possibility.
Whoa, okay, so instead of showing off my record collection or my
Mm.
travel photos, I'd
Mm.
be showing off my NFT gallery
Yeah,
with like rare digital art,
maybe.
virtual concert tickets,
Right.
badges from online communities.
Exactly. And those digital assets, they could be more than just static displays.
Right.
They could unlock access to exclusive groups, give you special privileges in virtual worlds, even represent your contributions to like social causes or online projects.
So our digital footprint becomes our identity,
In a way,
this constantly evolving expression of who we are online.
that's a really interesting way to put it. And of course, that raises a lot of questions about authenticity and reputation and social signaling.
Right, like how you know someone's being genuine
Right.
or just crafting this perfect digital persona.
It's like social media on steroids.
Totally.
Everyone trying to present the perfect image, but in the metaverse, that image is backed up by blockchain verified assets.
It takes keeping up with the Joneses to a whole new level.
It really does. And that leads us to, I think, the biggest question of all.
Okay, hit me with it.
How will our understanding of reality itself change as these virtual worlds become more and more immersive and intertwine with our lives?
Okay, now we're getting into like Matrix territory.
Right.
Are you saying there might be a point where we can't even tell the difference between the physical and the digital?
I mean, who knows, right?
Hmm.
But this conversation definitely wants us to consider that possibility. Like, imagine a future where you move between physical and virtual worlds seamlessly.
Yeah.
Your senses are totally engaged by digital experiences that feel just as real as anything in the physical world.
That's both amazing and kind of scary.
I know, right?
What happens to our sense of grounding,
Right.
our connection to the real world, if we're spending all our time in these simulated realities?
That's a huge question that people are going to be debating for a long time.
Yeah, I bet.
I think it shows how important it is to be aware of our relationship with technology,
Mm.
to make sure it's actually making our lives better and not replacing the things that make us human.
It's like we need to remember that the metaverse is a tool,
Yeah,
a really powerful tool,
for sure.
but still just a tool. And like any tool, it can be used for good or for bad.
It all depends on us.
We get to decide how we use it.
Absolutely well said.
This has been a wild ride.
It has.
I feel like I've learned so much.
Me too.
But I also have even more questions now.
That's the sign of a good deep dive.
Yeah, you're right.
It's not about getting all the answers. It's about getting curious, challenging what you thought you knew, and expanding your understanding of the world.
And I think we've done all of that and more.
I agree.
Thanks for joining me on this journey.
It's been a pleasure.
And to everyone listening out there, stay curious, stay informed, and stay involved in shaping the future of the metaverse. We'll see you next time for another deep dive into the world of emerging tech and its impact on our lives.